Hello, movie lovers, and welcome to mine and Roberto's Captain America Civil War trailer review, and also trailer reaction review from me. Now, what can I say about this is the whole fact that it's everything that I wanted in this trailer. I'm excited for it. I'm pumped up for it. The whole entire time of me being at work when I was supposed to be working, I kept on refreshing the refresh button over and over again on JoeBlow.com. I'm like, is it up? Is it up? No, it's not up. I'm just gonna go on ahead and go back to work. Then after that, I went back again, refreshed it again. I'm like, it's here. It's finally here. I'm over here. I'm shaking and everything. I have goosebumps on me. I don't know what to expect. I clicked the play button. Though I mean, I was excited. I was ecstatic. It was everything that I was hoping it would be. The whole entire time, I was like Jonah at Jameson. I'm like, where's Spider-Man at? Where's Spider-Man at? I was like, I've seen this before. Go away. I don't want to see that part. I already saw the part where he died. I don't need to see that part. Then after that, I wound up seeing some other stuff that was actually pretty cool. This thing actually gave you a layout of what this tone is going to be. This is the most serious movie that I've ever seen Tony Stark being. This is not going to be a funny movie. This is not going to be a movie that's going to have like a lot of humor from the other Avengers movies or any of the other Marvel stuff that's been out. This is a serious tone. This is a serious movie. This is everything that you were wanting it to be. This is everything that the comics and everything people were trying to tell you. This is a movie that's going to be political. It's actually going to be hitting at you at all levels. It's going to make you have a lot of feels. It's going to make you cry. There's a lot of emotional attachment. Someone's going to die because it's called Civil War. If you don't have any of those two, you just have a resurrection of Nick Fury coming back from the dead again and pretending that he's dead when he's not really dead.
Now, there will be comic relief in this video, or not in this video, in the movie. Ironically, the two comic relief characters are the two characters that are named after insects. But right. I thought that was funny.
Ant-Man. Yeah, you also have Ant-Man on there with going on Hawkeye's arrow. I mean, that was just fantastic. Then you have Spider-Man.
Yeah! Spider-Man!
This is what freaked me out. This is what got me. Was like towards the end of this whole entire deal was this. I'm like, okay. I took a deep breath. I'm like, where is Spider-Man? All of a sudden, hey, shoot, there goes Captain America's shield. It was brilliant marketing. We only got to see him for 3 seconds, but 3 seconds of my life.
I was hyperventilating for like 20 minutes.
I know.
Do not. I was like,
this was a nice little package from Marvel with a little bow and everything for us on Christmas Day to open. I felt like today was Christmas because I finally got to see Spider-Man. And guess what?
I have to do something. I'm going to do my J. Jonah Jameson impression. Since we finally got pictures of Spider-Man.
Okay.
Parker! Parker! No, hang on. I'm going to do it. Parker! I can't do it right for some reason. Hang on. What I want you to do is I want you to get me pictures of Spider-Man. All right, Parker? Back to my...
But seriously though, the humor that that he has in this movie and everything is just perfect. It's spot on. So I can't wait to see what else they're gonna do with this.
What was it that Tony called him?
Oh, I can't remember the catchphrase for that.
Hang on. But, I have to look it up now.
But anyways, my initial reaction is a positive. Everybody's like, "Oh, look at that."
That's what it is.
I don't like his suit. It's not good. Shut up.
It's friggin' perfect.
Just shut up. You don't know what you're talking about.
It's perfect.
Exactly.
It's the Steve Ditko Spider-Man. It's the 1960s classic Spider-Man.
Exactly. They don't know what they're talking about.
Well, it's because here's the thing. And this is kind of to his detriment. Because you have Tobey Maguire Spider-Man and you have Andrew Garfield Spider-Man, everybody, what they think of when they think of Spider-Man now is the movies. And so, unlike us, they're not able to appreciate oh my god, they took this right out of the comic. It's there, and it's like exactly as it should be. So a lot of people, they just can't appreciate it the way that we can, which I'm sorry for them.
I feel
But
sorry for them as well. If I was them, I would go on ahead and send out every single one of you got boys and girls a comic book so you can read it. It opens up just like a regular book, but guess what? You can read little comic strips and you can actually get what you want. And then you can be all giggling inside just like us, and you can be at the cool kids table.
I looked up the name Underoos.
Underroof,
Underoos.
that's actually pretty cool.
Yeah.
But okay, so this is what I liked about the trailer itself for the review. Now, this is going to be the trailer review part of the show, though, too, because it opens up and you will see Bucky standing there and everything. You have goosebumps because you haven't seen this character since Captain America: The Winter Soldier, so you don't know what kind of tone that he's going to be bringing during Civil War. All you know is some stuff's about to go down and stuff's going to happen. That's all you know. And everything escalates so quickly in the trailer. For example, you have Bucky going after Tony Stark, and Tony's over there trying to grab the gun before he winds up shooting him. I'm like, oh my god. That just gives me chills just thinking about it. That gives me goosebumps right now, just thinking about that.
How about Black Panther catching up to a car?
That was another thing. I was just
Oh my gosh. I'm like, yeah, this guy's on the Super Soldier Project.
Exactly. You couldn't get any better than that. I was on the edge of my
word.
I was on the edge of my seat at work. I was trying to keep my voice down from just fanboying.
The fangirl screams and squeals.
Right. Because seriously, I was actually almost screaming and everything. I'm like, okay, I need to take a breather. No, I don't. Never mind. I know what I'm doing. If anybody checks up on me or whatever, I work at a hospital. I know.
I'm sitting there watching this thing, and I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna have to call my mom and be like, Mom, Spider-Man gave me asthma. I'm there. I'm like, ah! For like 20 minutes. I kid you not.
That was perfect. It wasn't even forced at all. That Spider-Man scene wasn't even forced. It was done perfectly. It gave us the fans what we've been wanting.
It's funny because they did with him what they did with the Vision in Age of Ultron, which was you didn't see him until the very last trailer because this is the last trailer. And
right.
It was at the end as a tag, which I'm like, that's perfect. And you get to see him. And I thought, because, there were a lot of people reporting that it was going to be very Spider-Man heavy, the trailer. So I thought what we were going to see in the trailer, like not the tag at the end, was Tom Holland without the suit on meeting Tony and stuff. I thought that's what we were going to see. But that's what I thought.
Well, with me and everything, I felt quite the opposite. I had a feeling that we were just going to see him with the Spider-Man suit on, and
I hoped for the opposite, but that's what I was reading.
And everybody's like, "Well, I think it's going to be too Spider-Man heavy." I'm like, "Well, you guys are forgetting one thing. This thing is called Captain America: Civil War. It's not called Spider-Man: Civil War."
No.
So there's the difference right there. So just the way they introduce him actually shows you what kind of character building that he's going to end up doing for the time when Sony takes it back to work on a solo project. So hopefully, character development,
the solo project's going to be a Marvel project.
Actually, they're just sharing the property. It goes right back.
Well, no, but I mean, it's not just going to be Sony doing what they've done for the past 3 years.
From what I understood was from the reports and everything that Marvel only has their fingerprints on it for a short time, and then they tell them what they're going to do, and then after that, the property goes right back over to Sony, and then they do whatever they need to do.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, I don't think Feige's gonna drop that easy. I mean, he's been trying to get this to happen for 10 years, and it finally happened. I doubt he's gonna keep him at the table as long as possible. And here's what I think we all should do as fans. So I'm gonna call y'all fans out and tell y'all this. We need to go We need to go Force Awakens and Jurassic World on this movie, but greater, because we need to tell Sony that, hey, when Spider-Man is in the hands of Marvel Studios, the people that created the character, it's done right. We'll tune in. We'll give it good reviews because it was done great. And we need to make sure that Civil War gets a butt ton of money. And I will be donating a lot of my money because I'm probably going to go see this more than once. So I'm going to do my part. Personally, because oh my gosh, there's so much. We're getting introduced to Black Panther. We're getting introduced to Spider-Man. We're going to see just iconic scenes from the comics and come to life on the screen. Like they showed the one scene with Hawkeye shooting Ant-Man off with his arrow. Are you shutting me up?
No.
I'm just kidding. And like we saw him like diving off, and he's on the arrowhead flying through. I was like, it's like the comics. It's like the comics. Not to mention that this is Marvel's longest film to date, which I'm like, yeah, finally going for some length because we need it.
I have a feeling I'm going to be going back to the movie at least maybe twice to go see this movie.
I'm going to pre-buy it the day it comes out on theater. I'll be like, can I pre-buy it now? Because I want it now. Now, I have a conspiracy theory because we know Uncle Ben is dead, but they're probably going to show us some kind of flashback. And I'm going to call this now. I'm probably wrong, but Stan Lee plays Uncle Ben. And that's going to be his cameo.
I'm going to go fight the over or under.
Huh?
Over or under that it's going to happen.
Oh, I'm pretty sure it's going to happen.
Okay. Well,
it's wishful thinking on my part, but
right. With me, I'm kind of the opposite, which is okay because I'm thinking that it's just going to be a bunch of newspaper clippings at the start of the movie just showing Uncle Ben's body, and then that's
well, no. I'm talking about like maybe because since we know Aunt May is going to be in the movie.
Well, that's true too. You can actually have a couple of flashback scenes.
Yeah, like he's just probably like, after like a battle or something, he's thinking of Uncle Ben, and then they do with great power comes great responsibility, in his head or whatever. That's what I'm thinking.
I'm just hoping that they don't do that quote again because we already heard it twice in two different movies.
I mean, I want to hear it the way it was intended, not the Martin Sheen knockoff version of the quote that we got in Amazing Spider-Man.
Right.
If you're gonna do it, do it. Just give us the actual quote, because just do it. Don't be shy.
But man, when Rhodey went down, though,
I don't think Bucky shot him.
I don't think Bucky shot him either.
Because look at the progression of shots. Bucky wasn't pointing anywhere near the sky.
No.
When he took the shot. And the gun that he was using does not emit a beam. My guess, Zemo.
That's actually a pretty good guess on that part.
Because I mean, the only thing I could see that could have taken him out like that is Vision, and Vision's on their side. So unless Vision automatically turns because of Scarlet Witch wants to get a little lovey-lovey, then I don't see it. I don't see anything else but or Crossbones. But again, that's like it was a plasma type weapon.
Right.
So that was why I thought it was Baron Zemo.
Right. I was about to say that though too. I don't think it was going to be Crossbones or anything. So it doesn't make sense for Bucky to shoot him, especially the way that he had the gun angled as well.
Yeah.
So therefore, I would have to say
that was one thing I caught like the first viewing of the trailer was because they make it look like it was Bucky. But then I'm like, wait a minute. And I rewinded it. I'm like, no, he's pointing straight. And we know Rhodes is flying, so he has to be doing this number because he's sitting on the ground while he's firing. So it's not Bucky. And plus, he had like the gun he had in Winter Soldier that had like the grenade launcher and the machine gun. So I'm like, yeah, that's not shooting plasma anything.
Yeah.
So
Well, another thing too is if you think about it as well. I mean, all these scenes are pretty much taken out of context, anyways. So once we see the
right.
movie, see it in its full entire context.
I heard I'm probably gonna go see this in IMAX for this reason. There is a 15-minute IMAX scene which is like the craziest ever done in the MCU, and I want to see that in its original format. So yeah, I really want to go and check that out. Um, I mean, oh gosh, and it's funny because when we first started hearing about the movie and we heard about the cast and we're like, crap, there's so many people, but it really looks like, and it's the Russo brothers and they gave us Winter Soldier, but I really think that they're the right people going forward to do this and to do Infinity War as well, because it seems like they're giving each character their due, even in the larger narrative, and keeping it centered on Captain America because the movie's a Captain America sequel. Um, so I like that, even though that we are seeing a lot of different Avengers fighting, and yeah, that's kind of the selling point is Civil War, all out, war on everybody, but it still seems very Cap centric. So I like that.
Right. You can see that's why I like the Russo brothers as well, because everybody has their own screen time. Nothing is forced. Nothing. Everybody is there for a reason and serves the purpose of the story. And it's nothing. I mean, the Russo brothers are known for comedies, but man, did they knock it out of the park with.
They're good. I mean, like I didn't hear. Yeah, I didn't know about them when they did Winter Soldier. I mean, they really proved themselves with Winter Soldier.
They did, and I couldn't be happier with the fact that they're doing this movie and then also the Infinity Wars.
Yeah.
But I'm just hoping. This is what I'm hoping with the Infinity War. I'm hoping that they don't, get tired of it, like what we saw with Sam Raimi. Whenever he's attached to a project too long, he just didn't care about the project
No, 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 no,
anymore.
no, no. Wait a minute. Are you talking about Spider-Man 3?
Yeah.
No, please don't no. Come on. Do you not know the story about Spider-Man 3 and why that movie bombed?
But hold on. My whole entire thing is this, okay? I'm just saying. I'm just hoping that they don't get wore out, because I hope we already saw what happened with
Whedon.
with Whedon, how wore out he and how tired he got, and so therefore, I believe with this. I mean, if directors are attached to a project too long, they're just not going to care anymore.
True.
But I don't see the Russo brothers slowing down anytime soon.
No.
I don't see them getting tired.
And I think that because there's two directors, they can share that burden, whereas Whedon was just one guy, and he was writing it and directing it, whereas the Russo brothers, they have a writing team, which is the team behind the Captain America movies from the very first one, which ironically is the same writers of Narnia, which I was like, yeah, that's what I'm talking about, yo. But they have a writing team, they have each other, they're two directors instead of one. So even then they can share that burden and that load of, hey, we're making these massive scale films. So I doubt that they're going to get that time, because the thing with Joss Whedon was he was writing, he was directing all on his own. Yeah, I mean, he had a crew, but it was pretty much all on his shoulders, whereas they're sharing the burden of screenwriting and of directing even between two people, which is beneficial. So
I agree.
Yeah. Which means the movie's going to be better because of it, because they're never going to experience that kind of fatigue, and they'll just keep coming up with good stories and coming up with good shots and coming up with good ways to take the character. I'm just hoping, and I know it's 5 years away, 4 years away, 3 years away, because 2019, yeah, we're in 2016. I'm hoping that the Guardians meet up with the Avengers, because
that's what I want.
I mean, it makes sense, because Thanos is a cosmic villain. We already know he has ties to the Guardians because he was in the first Guardians movie. So it makes logical sense for if Thanos comes to disturb Terra, that at least Peter Quill's gonna be like, "Hey guys, we got to go and make sure that this moron doesn't kill my planet." And then we meet the Avengers. Because I'm sorry, but I want some Rocket Raccoon and Iron Man banter. I've been wanting that since Rocket Raccoon was put on screen.
I want to see an interaction with Tony Stark and Groot. I want to see an interaction with those two about how those two interact with each other. And how Tony looks at Groot for the first time. Could you imagine that?
Sick.
Like, he'd be like, "What are you doing? You're just a tree. I am Groot. You're in my way. I am Groot."
I am Groot.
I am Groot. But
I love the teaser photo we got for Guardians too, because you saw little Groot on the shoulder, hanging on the Drax. I was like,
it was perfect.
Yes. Oh, they actually released a picture of the cast, and you saw Mantis, the lady that plays Mantis, Michael Rooker, Zoe Saldana, Chris Pratt, Karen Gillian, which I forgot her name. I actually commented on it as a Mr. Gunn, is that Karen Gillian? Or I said Nebula, and he never was. I don't think he responded, but I wasn't sure because it didn't look like her. But yeah, like they released that photo and they looked like they were having fun, and I was like, oh, this is gonna be awesome.
Well, another thing too I want to get to is like at the other part of the trailer for Civil War was the part where you saw the events of New York. Then you saw the events of Washington. Then you see more stuff that happened.
So cool.
Like finally a Marvel movie that's actually going to have consequences behind the actions of what they've done.
Yeah.
And showing why people are afraid of them. This is perfect. This is actually showing what Age of Ultron, whenever they were saying, well, people are afraid of you. We didn't see that. We didn't see where people were afraid of them. We just heard that they were afraid of them. This time we're actually going to see something where you can actually see where people are afraid of these people with superpowers and how they can be controlled, if they can be controlled at all, which they can, but they don't know that. So I like that process.
The interesting thing, and I was a friend of mine commented on, because I posted the trailer to my personal page. He said, "So who's the bad guy here?" And I said, "That's the main selling point of this movie, is that wherever you stand, you make up who the bad guy is,
right?
Because you decide who you want to align with." And I like it in that regard because you can see the reasons why each character does what he does. Because Steve's always been on the side of justice and freedom, and it's kind of funny. I think it was Watch Mode. No, what was it? I think it was Screen Junkies. Was talking about it, and I think it was Screen Junkies. I can't remember. But they're like, it's kind of funny how Tony Stark and Steve Rogers have basically reversed their positions from where they were at in prior MCU entries, because Captain America was pretty much the government's lapdog, and Tony Stark, you had that scene in Iron Man 2 where he's just like, yeah, I'm not giving you the suit, whatever, you stink, goodbye, kiss my grits. And I'm like, yeah, and now you have the opposite, where now Tony Stark is wanting to coalesce to the government, while Steve Rogers is like, no, whatever, forget y'all, I'm gonna fight you.
Well, if you think about it like this too, even in the third the third Iron Man movie, you got to see how his character was changing, because you got to see the different Iron Man suits and everything being in there with the government.
True.
So you got to see that transformation.
I will say this: that was a cop out at the end. All of a sudden, the surgery to remove the arc reactor. I'm like, you had to do it. You had to do it. That was basically the Jar Jar Binks of Iron Man 3. Was them removing the arc reactor.
Well, to be honest with you, in the comics they did that.
But if they had built up to it, because it was so sudden. Like, oh, by the way, all of a sudden, yeah, I'm going to have my arc reactor removed because I suddenly can. And the whole second movie was dealing with the fact that he could not do anything but try and find a cure because it was killing him. So all of a sudden, you have this scene that's a throwaway scene where, oh, by the way, now I have a team of surgeons that can just take it out. And it just completely annihilated
I agree.
the second film. So
I do agree with that.
if they would have explained it, and if they would have at least built up to that moment, I would be fine with it. But the fact that they were like, oh, I fixed Pepper, and by the way, I took away the thing that started me on this whole freaking journey, and I'm like, what?
Exactly.
What? I'm pretty sure. I mean, with all these movies, there's stuff that they cut out. But it was just like, it was out of nowhere, and I'm like, why? There's no justification. There's no payoff. There's no buildup. There's nothing. It's just arc reactor off. I'm Iron Man because I decide to be. What?
The other thing too is like with this trailer too that I want to get onto is like, okay, with the whole thing with Black Panther. I mean, I wonder if they're actually going to show anything with his origin. Just touched on it.
I am pretty sure Bucky killed his father.
That would actually make sense.
Because that would explain why he's on a bloodthirsty revenge. Like, he's like bent on catching this bro. And he just showed up. And I'm like, yeah, because we know that Bucky killed Tony's parents.
Right.
So I'm like, who knows? He could have gone and tried, because if Hydra was involved with Ulysses Claw, and Claw was trying to get into Wakanda to get the vibranium, it makes sense that Hydra would be like, hey, Bucky, go and kill the king of Wakanda. And then there you go, conflict. That's where I'm hedging my bet on why Black Panther suddenly got into this mix. But I think it's justifiable, especially with what we saw in Age of Ultron.
But I'm just hoping that they go into explain it maybe a little bit. Maybe have like a little scene whenever he's getting recruited, and have maybe just a little small flashback scene just to get us into that. And then they can save the rest of it, savor the flavor for when we're getting ready to do the standalone movie for Black Panther.
I really hope. Here's what I think. I don't really think I would care if the Black Panther movie was not an origin. If they explain how he got to where he's at in Civil War, meaning if it was Bucky that killed his parents, okay, say that so that you don't have to do a backstory.
True.
And just start him off post-Civil War, wherever he's at. Which Martin Freeman's character is going to be in Black Panther as well. So I'm looking forward to that.
That's true as well.
Everett Ross. Hey, the phone's ringing.
Okay. So anyway. Another thing too, like that I really enjoyed was the fact that we got to see that little different design thing that he had, that Tony Stark had for his hand.
Yeah.
Like that was actually pretty cool. That was amazing right there.
I'm like, forget the iWatch. I want this.
Right. I was like, I want that glove.
Right?
I felt like Rocket Raccoon. I need that glove.
Oh,
Give me that, man. But that was just fantastic. Everything about this trailer screams awesomeness to it. That I mean it. I can't even get over it.
The one thing that surprised me was Scarlet Witch owning the Vision. I was like, dang! Oh my gosh, she got him to kneel. I was like, oh crap, because I thought it was over. I'm like, you have a dude that has an Infinity Stone attached to his forehead. Your argument is invalid. But then, and I like this because I think the Russo brothers in an interview said that because since they come from the same thing, they're able to fight each other, and that's where their relationship begins, and they're very coy about relationship, but that's what makes them unique, but yet together.
That part where Scarlet Witch just has Vision on his knees, I'm like, this girl is going to be a total baddie in this.
Mm-hmm.
Give the Vision a run for his
Yeah.
money. Because I was thinking, oh, Vision, he can probably sweep the ground with her. Then all of a sudden that happened. I'm like, okay, that scraped everything. That scraped everything apart for me. I'm like, anytime when you have the Vision on his knees, okay, I need to be fearful of this girl. I need to be careful of this woman and everything.
Here's conspiracy theory number 2. The whole trailer got me thinking of stuff, and I was thinking about Age of Ultron and the whole story of the building collapsing and the shell hitting the building and the parents dying. Theory and this is in case, and I think this is in case Fox ever decides, hey, we want to team up with Marvel like Sony. Don't you think the reason, now bear with me here, don't you think the reason that the second shell, didn't blow up in their faces was because their father is freaking Magneto and he stopped it?
To be honest with you, I would agree with that, but there's only one problem.
Well,
we have a Quicksilver in the Fox thing already.
Well, they're alternate timelines, and they even say it was alternate timelines.
Right, but the only thing is, you have two different. That's going to add some confusion too, because you also had this other actor playing Quicksilver.
Well, I mean, if they do the whole Earth 616 and Earth whatever, like 1099 or whatever.
Yeah, but
I'm saying it'd be an interesting way to, especially if they do like a character like the Watcher or something, and he goes in between. I'm saying this is me spinning my gears here.
Right. But
I'm trying to make sense of the fact that, hey, by the way, the magical bomb didn't blow up.
Well, like I said too, I mean, they're not even. Okay, this is the way I understood it back when the Age of Ultron got into production and everything, too, because I actually know a little bit of insight with that whole entire deal. But they couldn't even. They had an agreement to where they can't even throw Magneto in there at all.
Well, yeah, I know that. But I'm like, that could have been a sly way to create the possibility to maybe later, if it happens, like with Deadpool putting in a helicarrier into the film.
That was perfect, but still, there was no emblems, but we knew what it was because of what it was.
Because I mean, you saw it. I mean, it didn't look exactly like the ones we see in the MCU, but it was a helicarrier.
It was.
So yeah, I mean, it could be something like that where it's not explicitly said, but the seed is planted there for maybe future crossovers. Maybe
that's interesting.
That's me. That's me thinking, because I'm always thinking about, because they've had to now bring Spider-Man into the fold. Let's say down the road they run out of ideas at Fox, because all they have is X-Men and Fantastic Four, but they're not making a Fantastic Four in 10 years. So what if they're planting these seeds? Because Feige is a conniving little rat, but he's awesome in that regard, because he knows how to work everybody. And it's obvious by now we have Spider-Man in a Marvel movie. So I wouldn't doubt that Feige is doing this, like, here, I'm going to put this here, I'm going to put this here, and just the grand architect behind it all, like putting hints and cues to, here's an if, and here's an if, because he's even said it. He said, look, we have plans for if Fox and Marvel come to an agreement, and we can put mutants into the Marvel movies, and we have another plan for if that doesn't happen, or if we can delay it happening, just like they had it for Spider-Man. Civil War would have looked different if Spider-Man wasn't in it, but they had the two alternative plans already set. They even had, like, I think they had 2 scripts for Civil War, one with Spider-Man and one without, in case it did happen or it didn't. So, I mean, it's not beyond the realm of possibility that something like that, because it was so shrouded in secrecy, like, by the way, the father and the mother of Quicksilver just died. And they don't really explain what makes them special, because they were the only ones to survive the experimentation. Now, we would think automatically that it's Inhuman DNA, but I'm willing to bet they're not going to say anything, because they don't want to say anything, because it's really mutant gene, the X gene, that they have, which is why they survive. That's me. That's my conspiracy theory for the day.
Yeah, because I mean, those kids.
Right. No, that's what I'm saying. But they're not going to mention anything. They're just going to, here's a hint, here's a hint, here's a hint, here's a hint. And we can explore that later. We can leave it as is, and okay, they're 2 normal human beings that got blown up. Or it opens a possibility of maybe the reason why the shell didn't blow up was because Magneto was sitting there concentrating his butt off. Do not blow up. Do not blow up. Just saying.
Right. No, that's not a bad idea to be looking at it like that.
I mean, I'm just saying, and the only reason why I started thinking about it was because Feige's even come out on record and said, we have plans, we have alternative plans for if Fox joins the party, for if Sony joined the party, which they did now. So, you know, they've got it all figured out to the point where I'm not surprised he would put something like that in there just to use it later and have it mean something else later, and be like, hey, remember in Age of Ultron where we did this thing where the dad, we didn't talk about the dad, but he just suddenly disappeared with the mom? That was Magneto.
That's actually true too.
So, I mean, that's just me, and just spinning my wheels.
It's okay. I like the speculation and everything, even though
Yeah.
I might. Don't forget, we have 2 different viewpoints and everything on certain things too, so
Yeah.
that's okay.
I mean, and I'm probably wrong, but I'm like, there's always that chance.
Right. And I'm always like the negative one or whatever, like, no, I don't see it from that angle, but
I will say this, hey, Honest Trailers called this that happened today like 4 years ago.
Yep.
Sony and Marvel getting together and putting Spider-Man into an Avengers film, which, okay, it's a Captain America film, but it's really, okay, yeah, it's Marvel's Civil War.
But it's closer to an Avengers movie as you can get.
Right. I think, and the only reason why it's not called an Avengers movie, and they've even said this, was because Thor and Hulk aren't there.
Exactly. In order for it to call an Avengers movie is because you have to have those 2 key characters there.
Right.
Other than that,
right. So, but I'm like, Honest Trailers called it 4 years ago, and now, and I'm so thankful to James Franco and Seth Rogen for making the interview and getting Sony hacked by the Koreans.
Despite what I think about that movie, that was like the only positive thing that happened with the interview.
That's right.
That was the only thing that was positive.
That's right.
And at least now we don't have to worry about an Aunt May movie. I could just see the title, Aunt May, Mayday.
We are getting the Venom movie though.
Now, okay, this is me. This is just my personality, my peripheral. But this is how I feel about it. In Suicide Squad, you have Batman in there. To not incorporate your number 1 superhero being in a movie like that is not going to do well at the box office, in my opinion. You need to have that draw where you can say, oh, Spider-Man's going to be in it? Okay, I'm going to go watch this movie because I know Spider-Man's in it. He's going to be going after these bad guys. That was from Sinister Six. And, and everything's going to be happening like that.
The only way that it would work, speculation again, is if instead of Parker, they go with Miles Morales for Venom as the Spider-Man of the Venom movie. and have it be an alternate timeline to the MCU Spider-Man. That's the
See,
only thing that's what would make sense to me, and especially because everybody's been clamoring for, oh, we want Miles Morales because we want a black Spider-Man because race equality. So this would be a good way to bring in a lot of viewers that have been barking up a storm because of that, and make it sellable.
But the thing is, that's just a small crowd, though. Nobody really knows who Miles is, and have
But if you put the name Spider-Man in it, they're not going to care.
I don't know, because like whenever I watched Batman Beyond, I was thinking I'm going to see Bruce Wayne, and then it turned out totally something else.
They need to make a Batman Beyond live-action movie with Ben Affleck.
Well, aside from that, though, I mean, when you put these alternative dimensions and everything else, it's going to confuse people. You don't do that with a movie that's just now starting to get back on its feet again after the Andrew Garfield movie. You would have to do that at least after several movies. You don't do that with a brand new, fresh franchise to confuse people.
Right.
And that's just my opinion. That's just the way I'm looking at it. But that's the way how I feel. I just feel like, you don't put, a character that nobody knows about and try and make that people be sold on the fact that he's Spider-Man when you don't even know this character's background.
I would really like it for them to have Sinister Six as the villains in the Spider-Man movie.
I would like that too, but
up the ante by 1,000% for Spider-Man, please.
I would like that. I just hope that it's not forceful. I'm just hoping that it's not going to turn into a giant nest where you have too many villains and not enough screen time.
No, and I think here's why I think it could work. Because they're a team with a singular focus. Like Suicide Squad, in a sense. Whereas with the Spider-Man 3, with Amazing Spider-Man 2, each villain had their own motivations. They weren't united whatsoever. They were just there. And they put them in there for the sake of being in there. With Sinister Six, it's a conglomerate of villains coming together for a common cause, if you will. So I think that's why it could work. And because they said that Robert Downey Jr. and Chris Evans are coming back for the Spider-Man film. At least that's what's been heard. So we'll see. I mean, I think it would be a good way to just keep the ante up, especially because if you're dealing with something right after Civil War, it would be kind of cool to have all these antagonists all of a sudden show up because they know Spider-Man is weak and the Avengers can't stop him because they're all like weary from fighting one another. By the way, now it's our time to take over, and then have Spider-Man be the one to stop him. Be like, that would be kind of cool.
Well, based off of what I know too, with the Spider-Man stuff too, is this. I know he's going to be fighting with his own demons from the events of what happened in Civil War. So therefore, that would be a perfect timing to actually introduce these villains. So I agree with you on that aspect, because it gives him a chance of show that he's weak, and they think that he's kind of cowardly or whatever because of the fact that he's weak from the battle. So that actually,
Yep.
But I would like to see Carnage. That's who I would like.
Carnage, yes.
And
Jim Carrey playing Carnage. Please make it happen.
I hope it happens, but I'm okay if it doesn't. But that's who I would want to be casted.
Because that dude could play psychotic, and I like it. I think I would like it. So. Oh, man. That trailer, though. Oh, my gosh.
The trailer. Fantastic.
Had me swooning. Oh, my gosh. And by the way, the advanced tickets are now on sale.
They are?
Yep.
Well, I'm gonna have to.
Well, they did. I mean, think about it. They did the exact same thing with Age of Ultron. They did the final trailer in order to have the ticket sales go online. So.
Right. I might actually go and see this thing in IMAX.
Oh, I'm going. I'm there. I'm like, Forget Batman versus Superman on IMAX. I can see that regular. I want to see Civil War. I want to see Spider-Man swinging around. And Black Panther kicking Bucky's butt.
But yeah, I think it's
man.
can't wait. This got me to be the anticipated movie for me.
I think that they're going to make up for the mistakes of Age of Ultron. Not that there were many, but the whole like rushing of the plot and all that. I think that they took all the comments that were said to heart because it really was not as good as the first one.
No.
There had some aspects that were better, but as a whole, it wasn't. And I think that the Russo brothers were like, "Yeah, we're gonna make up for that. Don't you worry." And now we got Spider-Man, and he looks amazing. You know what came to my mind, and you probably aren't familiar with the ride in Universal, but I am. It looks exactly like the ride at Universal, like the design of Spider-Man. And I was like, when I saw him, huh?
To be honest with you, I've seen the trailer for the ride. So I do know what you're. But I haven't been on the ride. I haven't been to Universal in like 4 years, over 4 years actually.
They redid the ride, like they did the graphics on the ride again. That looks more sleeker now. But I'm like, Spider-Man, and he looks fantastic. Like because I think that Spider-Man 1, they went too retro with the costume. And Amazing Spider-Man 2, yeah, that was a really good look, but this is the quintessential. This is the granddaddy suit. This is the original. This is the
This is the old school 1950s suit.
Yeah,
right,
this is the one that, besides the Iron Spider, I wanted to see. And we're looking at it.
I feel like that, once they touch up a few things and everything, because they still have to touch up on a few things with the effects as far as things go. I think once
and I could see that when I saw it. I'm like, it could be touched up, and I think it will be. But I'm hoping. But it looked good for what we got.
Exactly.
And it wasn't. And here's the thing: it wasn't about seeing a finished product. It was about seeing the product. Like kind of a trial run, in a sense.
Exactly.
To get people excited for when they go to the theater, but now the effects are finished and it looks 100 times better. And not that it doesn't look good, it looks amazing, so it's going to look even better than what it already does. The suit, I love the look of this. I'm going to put it up again. I'm going to look at it. I actually have it as my screensaver. Where is it? Okay, I'm going to screen share this because I want people to see it. Did you see the pockets where he has like extra cartridges?
Yeah, that was actually pretty cool. That is a homage to the animated TV series and also the comics itself. That was perfect.
Yeah. The mask looks absolutely. The whole suit. I like it because it includes some black and not just the red and blue. Because
I agree.
It's black. I mean, it's the 1960s suit. Eyes. It's like the eyes, they did like that zoom in thing.
Exactly.
You know, like they got smaller. I was like, oh man. And yeah, okay, yeah, it looks still touch it up. It looks a little too shiny. It looks like the Apatosaur from Jurassic World right now. But, I mean, these are the people that for Ant-Man actually gave us a Michael Douglas, 30 years younger Michael Douglas that actually looked like he did 30 years ago and didn't look like a puppet. So, yeah, I'm not too worried about Spider-Man looking his best with his Marvel family. I really am not. Because they've been waiting for this almost as long as we have.
I agree with you.
So,
I'm happy.
Thank you, James Franco. Thank you. We love you, North Korea. I'm just kidding. We don't love you, North Korea.
No love for them.
No love for them.
No,
but we love James Franco. James Franco is awesome. Which ironically played the Green Goblin.
That's actually pretty funny. The guy who plays the Green Goblin is the one who winds up bringing him back to the MCU to be shared with.
Bringing him home. Oh man, okay. I'm gonna show y'all. I'm gonna show you something. I'll be back. Okay.
That's awesome.
I took a picture of it. I'm like, it's gonna be my freaking screensaver. That's right.
But I think that pretty much wraps everything up with what I had to say.
Yeah, I mean, we could be swooning for an hour.
Exactly. Like I said, the trailer is perfect. You can't get any perfect than what we have with Captain America: Civil War. I can't wait. This movie's actually now in my anticipated. Not to say that this movie wasn't my anticipated movie to go see, but now I'm even more psyched up to go see it now. So I'm actually this is everything that the trailer is supposed to do. It's supposed to leave you excited. It's supposed to wanting more, and they got my attention fully. And
I want to say this before we go, because we have to acknowledge and give credit where credit is due. Because we have just seen this year 2 marketing for comic book movies that have done everything right. And we should acknowledge that. The first one being Deadpool. Deadpool's marketing team should be getting the raise of what they did with the marketing. And the team, whoever marketed Civil War for Disney and and Marvel Studios, needs to get an award, needs to get a raise, because because Age of Ultron did this. They showed us too much. Even Avengers 1 showed us too much because it showed Hulk catching Iron Man in what was the climax of the film. Civil War, the trailers have showed us absolutely nothing regarding the plot other than what we'd already know. Because if you know what essentially it is. We don't know anything about Zemo. We haven't even seen Baron Zemo yet. We got 1 or 2 glimpses of Crossbones. We don't know how he's going to factor in anything. We haven't seen Bilbo Baggins, MCU character, and knowing what he's going to do. Yeah, we know he's Everett Ross, but we don't know how he's going to factor in. Peggy Carter's going to factor in because I heard that one of the funerals might be hers in the MCU or in Civil War. We don't know how Agent 13 is going to factor into anything. We don't know how Thunderbolt Ross is really going to factor in anything other than he's a politician. And what's exactly going to happen to his character. Kudos to Marvel Studios. Kudos for a job well done on the marketing. Show us nothing else. Please show us nothing else. If you want to do more little headshots of the characters, fine, do it and amp up the versus thing. Cool. Show us anymore. Keep everything. Just leave it there. Don't go Batman versus Superman on us and show us a condensed version of the movie in a trailer. Just leave it as is because it is absolutely perfect. We know nothing except what we already should know, what you could know in a Wikipedia search of the original comic. And I love it because I hate going into a movie and already know what I don't know anything other than the fact that they're going to fight. Okay, cool. They're going to fight. Awesome. Spider-Man's in it. Black Panther's in it. Half of the Avengers are in it. And all their sidekicks are in it. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be legit. But we don't know the plot. Great. Also, and see it in May. Is to know what the movie is.
So it's perfect.
Huh?
It gives you some mystery behind it.
It does, because you don't know. I mean, yeah, you know what instigates everything, but you don't really know anything other than let them fight, okay? But that's all we need.
Exactly.
We don't really need anything else.
Well, we don't, because the whole entire thing is about these people fighting against each other, and that's all we need. That's all the ingredients that we need. But later on,
Yeah.
everything, find out the plot and everything for our own selves. We don't need to have the trailers to explain what the plot line is going to be, other than the fact that they're going to go on ahead and fight against each other.
Right.
All right.
Alrighty.
With that being said, this is Roberto from the Movie Channel, and everybody knows me. I'm from Movie Lovers Unite, and until next time, bye bye.
Adios.